book, and I think you did a great job of explaining like different attachment styles. So would you mind explaining that to listeners and how it could affect their dating life?
So, attachment theory is one of the most rigorously researched elements of relationship science, which is the study of how love works, how attraction works, how dating works, etc. And so, the idea here is that it's actually based on developmental psychology. It's based on experiments that were done decades ago looking at how kids related to their primary caregiver. But that research has carried on into our understanding of adult romantic relationships. And so there's basically three main types. There's somebody who's anxiously attached. If you're anxiously attached, then you have a fear of your partner abandoning you. And you are very focused on being in touch with your partner, texting them a bunch of times, text me when you land, text me when you get to the concert. You constantly want to be in touch, and you're afraid of people kind of pulling away from you. The second type is somebody who's avoidant attached, and there's a fear that you're going to be smothered by the relationship. And so you're constantly advocating for your own independence. And so these might be people who say, I need to get out of this relationship. I have to focus on work, or I feel like you're all over me and I don't have any time for myself. And these are people who are constantly pulling back. And then in the middle is somebody who's securely attached. And so these are people who are comfortable with intimacy, but also comfortable with their independence. And so they want to be close to you, but they also need their own space. And so what happens is that securely attached people are around 50% of the population, but unfortunately, fortunately or not, they get snatched up into relationships and they tend to stay in them because they're good at making relationships work. So what you have is you have people who are anxiously attached, dating people who are avoidant attached in something called the anxious avoidant loop. And so what ends up happening is that people reinforce each other's bad habits. The anxiously attached person says, you're going to abandon me. The avoidant attached person says, you're going to smother me. And they're actually doing that to each other. And so the best way to break out of this cycle is to actually either try to date a secure person and break the pattern, or try to become more secure yourself. And the way that you can do that is by understanding, what are my triggers? What are the things that happen to me that make me freak out and send 30 texts? What are the things that happen to me that make me say, we need to break up, I need my space? And so really, when I see people make progress, it's when they identify their attachment style and then they're able to make concrete changes to their own dating lives to actually take control and say, I'm no longer going to participate in this unhealthy, irrational, anxious avoidant loop. And that's when they're actually able to create a new pattern and get into a healthy relationship.
Yeah, and I really enjoy that aspect of like kind of self-reflection. It's like if something's like triggering you, like where's it coming from? How's it affecting me? And it's just really fascinating to learn kind of like how you kind of acted as a child, and your childhood development could kind of affect your dating process, like, decades later. So that was just like an interesting aspect that I don't think enough people know about or even know about themselves, and how it could affect them in looking for a life partner and how they treat the relationship.
Yeah, absolutely.